Okay, so now we're going to start moving into solving equations. This section, we're going to keep it fairly basic. We're going to really look at just one aspect of that, but I want to lay out the basic steps that we're going to go through to solve these equations. We'll keep coming back to those. I'll probably put them up in each of the next two sections, but we'll keep filling in the details as we go through. So the steps that so first of all, a solution to an equation is any number that you can put in for the variable that makes the equation true. So we can kind of see that here. I had x minus 4 is equal to 8, and we get an answer of 12. Well, 12 minus 4 is 8, so that makes 12 the solution. Now, I've done some work here to do that, and we'll come back to these examples, but I just want to point that out. That's what it means to be a solution. If you can take the number you have and plug it in, and it makes the equation true. All right, so back to the steps. For solving equations, we're going to try and keep this as straightforward as we can. There are some variations on how you can go through this, but we're just going to really kind of lay this out as 4 steps. Step 1, get rid of parentheses. If you have parentheses in the problem, they've got to go. Step 2, clear any fractions. That step is optional, and sometimes it doesn't matter if it's there. Or, I mean, if we have fractions and you can solve it just fine with them, some people really want to get rid of all their fractions, and that's kind of what I'm going to show you probably in the next section. Step 3, use addition and subtraction. That's where we're going to focus here. This section is going to be all about using addition and subtraction to manipulate our equations to get us to the answer that we want. And then the last step that we'll have will be to divide. And so when we get into the big nasty equations, these steps are going to be really good. For now, you're probably going to look at some of the things I put on the board and you're going to be like, and why do I have to do it that way? Well, here's the thing. These are pretty simple looking equations. They're not bad. You can probably stare at them and figure out an answer, but that's not always the case. They get big, they get messy. We need some steps, we need some guidelines to use to help us find our way through some of these problems. So get rid of parentheses, clear fractions, add and subtract, and divide. This section we're focusing on the addition and subtraction. So I have 2 examples, and we'll do some more, but here are my first 2. X minus 4 is equal to 8. So the way this works is, because we have something and we're subtracting 4, we can cancel out that minus 4 by using a plus 4. So we can add 4, right? Minus 4 and plus 4 would be 0. They go away and we're left with just the x. But the big key to solving equations is if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other as well. So if I want to use adding 4 here to get rid of this minus 4, I have to also add 4 over there. And as you can see, 8 plus 4 gives us the 12 that really does actually work there. My second example, also fairly straightforward, pretty nice. We have a plus 7. I don't want the plus 7. My goal is to get that x all by itself. So I need to get rid of the plus 7, and so I use a minus 7. On the other side, 31 minus 7 gives me 24. Now, if you're watching this video just for fun, fantastic, enjoy. If you're watching this video because you're in one of my classes, I need you to show me the steps. No matter how simple looking these problems are, I really want to see those steps. So I know it's kind of annoying. You're like, but it's got to be 12. I know, but we're going to do some uglier looking stuff. And so we need those steps. We need to be able to do that work. All right, let's get some more examples. Okay, so I have 3 more examples I want to take us through. And the last one's really the most fun. You'll notice I didn't finish it. I'll finish it for you, but I didn't want to have it up on the board because I kind of really want to walk through the steps that come after where we're at right there. So, but let's do the other 2 first. 3.2 plus x is equal to 7.1. Importantly, this is a positive 3.2. To get rid of it, I still have to subtract. It's decimals, but you have a calculator. Use your calculator. It's worth it. 7.1 minus 3.2, that's 3.9. There we go. This one is different. So what's different? Well, you can probably tell. I have x in 2 places. That seems problematic, but it's really not. We're going to do the exact same thing. Remember our goal, x all by itself. Not 2 x's, just 1. So one of them needs to go away. Well, I'm going to choose to get rid of the 4x because, quite honestly, I'm going to do it by subtracting, and 5 minus 4 is 1. I would much rather get a positive 1 out of that than if I subtracted 5x, I could get a negative 1x. I don't want to go there. So I'm subtracting the smaller one. 4 minus 4 is 0, so these x's go away. They're gone. 5 minus 4 gives me 1x. Remember, another name for 1x is just x. And so we get x is equal to negative 5. Okay, now for the doozy. This is the biggest one that we've seen so far, and this is probably the best evidence of why it's really important to kind of take these things step by step to show your work and to really take your time. This one has a couple of sets of parentheses. So we know how to use the distributive property. We've seen how to do that. And we're going to apply that here. Okay, that was the first step in our list of things to do when solving equations. So I do the distributive property. 3 times 2 is 6, so I get 6x. 3 times a minus 1 is minus 3. And I do the same thing on the other side. 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times minus 1 is minus 5. And then I'm just going to clean up the mess a little bit. I'm going to combine those like terms. Be really careful. Remember that this minus sign belongs to the 5, so negative 5 and 3 makes a minus 2. All right, so that gets us here. I have 6x minus 3 equal to 5x minus 2. This is where I paused in the middle of the problem to try and, so that I could show you, really kind of walk through my thought process here with this. So what we want to have happen is we want to have x on one side and a number on the other. Obviously, I've got x in 2 places, and I've got 2 numbers, so this one has a lot of stuff running around. Now, okay, let me try this again. You could choose to get rid of any one of those 4 pieces first. Personally, I like to go after the x's first. That's kind of my thing. And as long as I'm doing the x's, I want to do 6 minus 5 instead of the other way around. So I am choosing to get rid of the 5x. 6 minus 5 is 1. That's just x. So now I have x minus 3 is equal to, don't lose that negative sign, negative 2. Okay, that made the 5x go away. And now look at what we have. We have x minus 3 equals negative 2. Now I can see exactly what I have to do. I don't have any choice at this point. I have to add the 3. So I add 3 to both sides. And of course, I'm running out of room on my whiteboard. So I'm going to tuck it over here on the side. And we get x is equal to 1. So that's solving real basic equations using just addition and subtraction. Okay, the only other thing we actually had to do is we did have to use the distributive property to get rid of some parentheses. But we'll see how to use multiplication and division in the next section, along with getting rid of some fractions. So, bye.